Hello, 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 and welcome to another fantastic episode by Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. This is episode 73, which kind of makes sense because it's only Andrew and I, and 73 is a prime number, so I don't know. Andrew's 73, I'm 1, I guess. I don't know. That would have made a lot more sense if you guys were more nerdy, but
you need to be math nerds. This is high level humor right now.
Before we get started, let me remind you again that we are covered by the BitCot No Government License, which allows for the reuse and distribution of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is bipcot.org. Yeah, I have nothing after that because I already spilled the beans. And
that sounds like a personal problem.
This is totally, this is totally scrambled last minute. Derica is sick. What'd she say? She said she felt like a bag of smashed assholes.
Yep, it's Kevinism.
Kevinism, which I have no fucking idea what that means, but I had tea coming out of my nose laughing at it.
What does a bag of smashed assholes feel like?
I don't think I want to know.
I don't think I want to know either, actually. It's probably roughly akin to the way that I felt after breaking my phone screen less than 24 hours after I got my new phone.
Why would...
Within hours of going...
Were you eating the whiskey pods?
I want those so bad!
They're adult Tide Pods.
Oh, that's how you keep...
They clean your memories instead of your clothes.
See? Yeah. That's how you keep your 300-year-old product relevant to Gen Z.
I had that thought, and then I had another thought, like you sitting down watching TV and you have like a bag of potato chips, right? Well, instead of eating a bag of potato chips, you just eat like the whiskey pods, like one shot at a time.
They're adult gushers, is what they are. I hope they're individually wrapped so you can hand them out at Halloween.
That would be
fantastic. Yeah, like here's regular candy for you kids, and here is something very special for you adults who have to haul all these children around all night. You'll thank me later.
Tape a Xanax to it so you get Xanax in a whiskey shot.
Xanax in a whiskey? That would be freaking phenomenal. Everyone would be like, we're going to that house, and little Johnny's like, but they only have the fun size Snickers. Yeah, I don't care, shut up, we're going to that house.
Little Johnny gets to the end of the block, the mom grabs the mask and goes back and knocks on your door again.
Does it again. You got to give like those crappy peanut things to the kids, and then the adults get the nice stuff. We're going to that house. We're all going to that.
We have an old lady across the street from me on the corner of the court here, and she hands out apples.
I always hated that shit.
Like apples, and then there was another lady when I was growing up that would hand out little bags of raisins.
What the hell?
Like, come on.
Do you want to get your house toilet paper tonight? Because that is how you achieve that. That is a guarantee. Like, what is wrong with you? A bag of raisins.
A bag, yeah, like the little snack pack size bag of raisins.
Yeah, what?
Like, it's fucking Halloween. Come on now. I'm wearing my best Casper outfit. Give me some fucking Snickers.
Come on, I came as Charlie Brown as a ghost. What do you? I put a lot of effort into this. It's clever.
Go Power Rangers. Oh, fuck that. Speaking of dumb gifts, I don't know if it's not really a dumb gift, but it's a dumb mind. We got everyone's favorite politician, Miss Sheila Jackson Lee. This is the same woman who asked if the Mars rover saw the flag planted by Neil Armstrong while at NASA. She was at NASA and asked.
She's from the home of Mission Control.
Yeah.
She's from Texas.
She's from Austin, but they're in Houston. Yeah, that was 7 years ago. But okay, so Sheila Jackson Lee, she is holding court in front of some reporters. Let's see, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat out of Texas. This is Austin, which most Texans will not claim as part of Texas. Claimed to have held an AR-15 and immediately regretted it, saying it weighed as much as 10 boxes that you might be moving. Speaking to reporters last week, she added that AR-15 uses 50 caliber bullet that ought to be licensed. Okay. Right, so this is, hold on. I'm trying to keep it together. Okay. This is the full quote. Quote, I've held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I hadn't. It's as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving, and the bullet that is utilized, a 50 caliber, those kinds of bullets need to be licensed and do not need to be on the streets.
Oh. It's just, she is the dumbest person in Congress, which is not a bar that you really can say is very high, but she is the dumbest person in Congress, easily. And the only thing I can come up with is that she picked up either like an M82 or an M107 and held it. And I mean, they're heavy. You know, they're what, like 15 pounds? Something like that? For an M107. They're not lightweight.
The M107, I think, is... I think the light M107 is, I want to say 27 pounds. And that's that's the light one.
Yeah, so they're not... I mean... I thought they were lighter weight than that, but so they're not. I mean, they're heavy, I guess, for a gun. They're extremely heavy, but they're not an AR-15. They don't even look like an AR-15. They're not even to the same scale, because the scale of an M107 or an M82 is a scale all its own. It's just a really big fucking gun. Maybe she saw that and assumed because it was black plastic and it had Picatinny rails on it, that automatically meant it was an AR-15. And she's retarded. That's the level of stupid is so impressive.
Okay, the M82A1, according to Wikipedia, weighs 29.7 pounds.
Wow, it's a lot heavier than I realized it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and 50 BMG or 416 Barrett. So yeah, 30,
but, you know,
30 pounds.
I mean, yeah, you can see how she got it confused, because they do look so similar, the 50 caliber and what an AR-15 shoots. I mean, they're so similar in scale. You fucking just... I mean, yeah, you can get an AR in 50 Beowulf, which is not 50 BMG, which is what she was talking about.
Put it like this, okay? 50 BMG, 50 caliber, right? 12.7 by 99 millimeters.
Yep.
Right? 5.56 by 45 millimeters.
Yes. It is not large.
It is literally less than half the size.
Is this? Oh, this is. So this is a 5.56 casing,
which is teeny tiny.
This is tiny. This is not a 50. So to put this in perspective, this is a 300 blackout casing. And you'll notice a slight difference in the ends, but this is only 30 caliber. Mm-hmm. This is 22, and you'll notice something interesting here. They kind of so. I mean, I'm just saying. Already, you're an idiot.
Yeah, she's special. But yeah, it weighs as much as 10 moving boxes, or 10 boxes you would move. Like,
yeah, 10. Well, I mean.
Okay, number one, that is such an arbitrary comparison of measurement.
Who even comes up with that? Like, oh gosh, that's got to be like as much as the metatarsal of an elephant. Like, what? I have no point of reference for that at all. That's, I don't know.
like that's a really heavy box of pillows. I'm just saying.
I mean, an AR is not that. I mean, and like my super light, it comes in under 6 pounds, far under 6 pounds.
I think that the average is right about like 7.2, something like that.
I mean, yeah, mine. I think my 300, my deer gun is probably, because it's an AR and it's a lot of metal. I'm gonna say it's probably coming in 7.5, somewhere right in there.
Yeah.
Because ultralights like this. This is the basis for the ultralight. This is all polymer. This is plastic, and this is incredibly lightweight. So, versus even the aluminum ones, because like I had it floating around here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So that's a metal lower, and this on its own with nothing attached already weighs probably close to as much as that does. But it's not as much as 10 moving boxes. That's unless she means just the cardboard of 10 moving boxes, in which case, I mean, maybe. And maybe she means, even if we give her the benefit of the doubt, like every piece of benefit of the doubt possible, and she means just the cardboard of 10 boxes, and when she says 50, she means a 50 Beowulf and not 50 BMG. She's still an idiot, because that is not a normal AR.
Yeah, I mean, that's on the level of dumbness. That's right up there with Kevin DeLeon, the ghost gun guy.
Yeah.
Right, where it shoots 30 caliber clips per second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just throwing out random terms. Like, the way these people speak about firearms is like they're just throwing out terms that they've heard, like blindfolded, throwing it darts at a dartboard and hoping that something sticks. Like, they're like, maybe some of this word salad that I've just tossed has managed to make sense to someone. But it doesn't at all to anyone who knows anything about guns. I even know people who don't know anything about guns who heard that quote and went, wow, she's really dumb.
Yeah.
Even they were like, no? What?
All right. For shits and giggles, I looked up dumbest gun control quotes, and I got the top 10 here.
Oh, boy.
This is from wideopenspaces.com. I don't see a date on it, but they got some relatively new stuff. But number 10 is, well, my shotgun will do better than your AR-15 because you want to keep someone away from your house, just fire the shotgun through the door. That is creepy Uncle Joe Biden.
Of course, yes. And then, of course, he's the same guy who said, just get a shotgun. When he said, when he was asked about how he proposed people would protect their homes if guns were banned. And
he also said, just shoot your gun in the air, and that'll scare them away.
That was that same quote. In that same little spiel, he said that. And there was a woman that was just arrested for firing warning shots because, as anyone who knows anything about guns and gun laws knows, that is illegal.
Yes.
And incredibly dangerous, because those rounds don't just magically evaporate when you shoot them in the air, Joe. That metal will come back down eventually, because that's how gravity works. And it's just...
I'm sorry. I moved on to the next one, and I'm fucking dying.
Oh, God, it's going to be golden.
Former Democrat New York Assemblywoman Patricia Eddington. Quote, some of these bullets, as you saw, have an incendiary device on the tip of it, which is a heat-seeking device. So you don't shoot deer with a bullet that size. If you do, it could cook it at the same time.
Oh, yep, that's definitely what incendiary means. Somebody get that lady a dictionary.
Heat-seeking bullets that cook the deer at the same time as you shoot it.
So is it heat-seeking or does it produce heat? I'm confused what she thinks that means. I don't know. Does she understand what the term heat-seeking implies?
No, I don't know.
I've actually seen what happens when you shoot like a side of pork with even the exploding bullets from World War II. And while graphic, it doesn't cook anything.
It doesn't cook anything.
It doesn't cook anything. That's just
all right.
Stupid.
This is from my buddy Kevin DeLeon here in California, former California State Congressional President, Majority Leader, something like that. Yeah. Quote, "This is a ghost gun. This right here has the ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second."
What does that mean?
It is number one, that is so much word salad. Right. Number two, 30 caliber clip. Okay, like that can actually make sense if you use stripper clips and blah blah blah. All right.
Which no one really does, but
no, this right, this right here has the ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
30. Let's do some math here real quick. There for Mr. DeLeon. 30 rounds in half a second. That's 60 rounds a second.
Which is
times 60 seconds per minute. That's a 3,600 RPM.
30, which is astronomical. Is there anything that shoots that fast?
Miniguns, like the electric powered Gatling guns that you see as like door guns on attack helicopters and on A-10s and things. Those shoot, I don't want to get it wrong because somebody will complain at me. They'll send me an instant message on Facebook, guaranteed, because that seems to happen lately, to correct me if I'm wrong here. They shoot at right around 4,200. So
okay.
They shoot that fast. But when you hear them fire, what you hear is burp.
Yep.
That's it. The M1919 Thompson was like around 2,000. The Suomi, I think, was like 2,400 or 2,500, and it's legendary for how fast it shot, because you couldn't keep it fed because it would shoot so fast. It was ridiculous. Just, all right, well, I guess that's done.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
600 rounds per minute. Okay.
All right. Representative Louise Slaughter is a New York Democrat. She is the oldest serving U.S. Congresswoman. She is a 13-term representative. This woman's been reelected 12 times.
Can't spell slaughter without laughter.
Quote, "The Second Amendment only protects the people who want all the guns they can have. The rest of us, we got no Second Amendment. What are we supposed to do?"
What?
I repeat, quote, "The Second Amendment only protects the people who want all the guns they can have. The rest of us, we've got no Second Amendment. What are we supposed to do?"
Are you? That's not how the Constitution works.
My eye is twitching.
I can't. What?
My eye is seriously twitching.
What does that even mean?
Oh. All right. Oh, okay. Colorado Democrat Representative Diana DeGillette.
Noticing a trend here with the Democrat thing.
This is during a 2013 gun control forum in Denver. Quote, "What's the efficiency of banning these magazine clips? I will tell you. These are ammunition. They're bullets. So the people who have these now, they're going to shoot them. So if you ban them in the future, the number of these high-capacity magazines is going to decrease dramatically over time because the bullets will have been shot and they won't be any more available."
I remember that quote. I remember that. That is freaking
God.
And even one of her one of the people that was like on the board or whatever that she was on when she said that looked at her and went, "I'm sorry, are you under the impression that these are one-time use? That's how a magazine works?" And she just looked completely mystified that wasn't how that worked. Let me explain. I can reload this and put more bullets in it after the bullets leave. I can do it again. It's a storage device. I don't.
Oh my goodness.
It's like what these people. Because see, that's the thing though. Is these people think that guns run on magic. That's what they think, and they. No, once you shoot them, I mean, they're just done. And what are you gonna do?
It's like I'm mystified. I'm absolutely mystified that a government official can be this inept and talk about something with such confidence.
Stupidity is really dangerous. It is very, very dangerous.
And like even okay, and that's what it is. It's absolute ignorance. Like if you're trying to ban something and you know about it, you won't make this kind of stupid remarks.
Right. Exactly. You don't make those kinds of dumb claims, which is why you have guys like with the vaping debate, you have guys like the governor of Arizona who said, no, this vape ban makes absolutely no sense because none of the science backs it up. And all of the issues have been with black market THC cartridges anyway, and not with nicotine vapes and everything. Like, because he knows what he's talking about because he bothered to take the time to do the research.
Yep.
Because he's a decent dude because Arizona kicks ass. But
okay. And this is from our buddy Michael Bloomberg when asked to define or when asked talking about so-called assault weapons. He said, quote, well, if it can fire a lot of bullets very quickly, that's a good definition. And then you can argue what is a lot. Okay, let's say 3. If you haven't hit a deer with 3 shots, you're a pretty lousy shot, and the deer deserves to get away.
Like, yeah, because that's why because the founding fathers had just come back from a hunting expedition.
Yep.
And we're like, hey, we need to make sure that we protect our guns so that we can keep hunting. That's exactly what happened. It wasn't that they were hunting fucking redcoats or anything. That they're at war.
This one's from a governor. Democratic governor of Virginia, Terry, what do we call him? McAuliffe, McAuliffe.
McAuliffe.
We lose 93 million Americans a day to gun violence.
93 million. 93 million a day.
In a country of 330 million or so.
So that would be 33,945,000,000 people per year. More than the entire population of planet Earth several times over is how many people we lose per year.
We're going to die tomorrow, just so you know.
We're all dead. That's already. This is...
Okay, I actually brought this quote up talking to Ben Stone on Twitter the other day. This is from Carolyn McCarthy, former Democratic representative of New York, when arguing the proposal to reauthorize the federal assault weapons ban. This was like 1994. She was asked to describe what a barrel shroud was. She said, "I don't actually know what a barrel shroud is. I believe it's the shoulder thing that goes up."
What? What?
Yes, she said, "I actually don't know what a barrel shroud is. I believe it's a shoulder thing that goes up."
There's a lot to unpack there. So, one, you're under the impression that that you put the barrel to your shoulder. This is already a bad sign. I don't know what she's talking about goes up. Is there are guns where it folds over, up and over. The SPAS 12, I think it does. That's actually a really awful shotgun. But
still so fun to play with, and I haven't had my opportunity.
Oh, but they're so bad.
Oh,
I know. They really are. I mean, I'm really trying to come up with a. What? But I mean, this is demonstrative though of why government regulating anything is such a terrible idea, because most people who wind up in government, the vast majority, they understand law. Like if you look at the history of most people, the job history of most people in government, especially higher up government, it's either they've never done anything but be in government,
Bernie Sanders,
or they've never done anything but be lawyers, which is the vast majority of them. I mean, there's no other job descriptions there who get elected for the most part. And, you know, there are occasional exceptions, but the majority of them, they know how to be government officials. They don't know how to do anything else or know anything about anything else. And these people who have no idea which end is even the barrel on a gun, they're the ones that people want in charge of deciding what guns should and should not be allowed. Like,
she didn't know that the magazine could be reloaded.
I know. They don't know which end is the end that goes boom. They don't know that magazines can be reloaded. They don't know the difference between a clip and a magazine, which you could argue somewhat esoteric.
I can go either way on that one. Yeah, that's no. I mean, you can argue nomenclature for that one, but
yeah, but I mean, they don't know. They don't understand like fire rates. They don't know anything about calibers or weights. They know nothing. This would be the equivalent of having Amish people regulate cars.
Yes.
Except not, because Amish people deal with cars constantly and actually understand what they are. So
just make Darwin great again.
Oh my God.
All right. This is another one from our buddy Diane. Quote, "We have federal regulations and state laws that prohibit duck hunting with more than 3 rounds. And yet it's illegal to hunt humans with 15, 30, and even 150 round magazines."
First of all, where did you find a 150 round magazine? Because I want one. Second of all, it's not legal to hunt humans. That would be murder. I'm pretty sure that's illegal already. I don't.
All right, and then the number one dumbest gun quote is, quote, "It is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book." That is former President Barack Obama.
That doesn't surprise me at all that Uncle Barry decided that.
Yep.
Yeah.
He said that during 2016.
Most presidents are awful. He is exceptionally so. Where are these kids getting guns? Because I want to shop there. Oh my God.
12. It is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book.
So 13-year-olds cannot purchase weapons. They can own firearms in most states. Not all states. Florida, California, there's a few others where they're not allowed to even own them. So they can't. It's already illegal for them to buy a gun. And again, where are you buying your guns that they're cheaper than a book? Because, oh my God, that would be awesome. Do you know the kind of collection I could build with that? That'd be fantastic. That would be lovely. I'd have a freaking arsenal. Like a true arsenal, not a media standard arsenal. That is... What? I mean, maybe in Chicago? Maybe? I guess. He is from, there.
All right, there's a few bonus ones. This is
honorable or dishonorable mentions.
Yeah. Congressman Gifford's life was saved, and so many others, when very valiant folks stood up and defended themselves and protected themselves, and they did it with ballpoint pens. That is Colorado State Senator Jesse Ulberry, Democrat.
Pretty sure she got shot.
Yeah, in the face.
I don't think a pen saved her. I think that was actually surgeon scalpels and things. Like that was people with medical training. And there are thousands, literally thousands of civilians armed every year who stop things like mass shootings, who stop home invasions and murders and robberies and everything else. They defend themselves. And that's provable. Good luck proving that a ballpoint pen has ever stopped someone from killing someone ever. Unless maybe you're Jason Bourne, I guess. If you're Jason Bourne or John Wick, I could see that. But you're not. That's...
No.
I mean, the ballpoint pen has resulted in the deaths of plenty of people, you know, drone strikes, executions, wars of various kinds. That's all the result of a ballpoint pen.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really terrible executive orders that have come at a ballpoint pen. I mean, I don't know that a ballpoint pen has ever stopped anybody from doing anything. I mean, it's that's just stupid.
What was it that Barack Obama famously said? I have a phone and a pen, and I know how to use them. And then later, it turns out I'm pretty good at killing people. I mean, you know,
he did get a Nobel Peace Prize for drone bombing, and then went on to like break the record for drone bombs.
Yeah, I love that Babylon Bee article because the Bee is always on point. The Babylon Bee with their Nobel Prize committee advises Trump he hasn't bombed enough countries yet to be eligible for a Nobel Peace Prize.
All right, we got another dumb quote. This is a different article, but it's also a dumb gun quote. From Senator Richard Blumenthal. Again,
oh God,
Democrat.
What a surprise!
Connecticut. Suggest gun control is, quote, just like that civil rights movement. Okay, Blumenthal began his time behind the podium by thanking Connecticut citizens who are calling for more gun control. He then thanked other gun controllers from around the country for likewise demanding more gun control and, quote, building this gun control movement. It's just like the civil rights movement.
Yeah, except that it, you know, against civil rights and, you know, completely the opposite. But other than that, it's totally the same thing.
Like, civil rights movement was like, stop controlling us. Gun control's like, well, let's control them. It's totally the exact same thing.
Except that it's a lot more like government control and like the things that led up to the civil rights movement stuff. But other than that, they're completely the same thing.
Blumenthal said the gun control movement is, quote, being led by people all over the country who have had the courage to say enough is enough. Ironically, the civil rights movement was largely a movement to take down Jim Crow laws, which Democrats put into place throughout the South.
Yeah. Hey, how about that?
The laws, from poll taxes to rules on bus seating based on skin color, were targeted by civil rights leaders and activists in the 50s and 60s and ultimately destroyed.
And, you know, one of my favorite anti-gun control quotes was by a Black Panther during the civil rights movement, who said that disarmed people are slaves or subject to slavery at any given time.
Yep.
But I mean, you know, the gun control thing's exactly like that whole civil rights, that civil rights thing.
And who passed gun control in response to the Black Panthers carrying arms and protecting their own communities?
Oh gosh, it was Democrats, I think.
No, that was
that
was Governor Ronald Reagan.
It was Reagan, you're right.
Yep, here in California.
Reagan, who also signed the Hughes Amendment into law.
Yep. Oh, good old Ronnie.
And if you're unfamiliar, listeners/viewers, with the Hughes Amendment is the reason why you can no longer buy a new automatic weapon.
Yep.
That would be the Hughes Amendment.
Didn't the Hughes Amendment also the NICS checks?
Yeah, the majority of what we would consider modern gun laws, federal modern gun laws, are from FOPA.
That's
and
the Firearms Owners Protection Act.
Yes, very euphemistically named FOPA.
Like the Patriot Act, right?
Yeah, like the Patriot Act. And I mean, FOPA, calling it FOPA is the equivalent of passing a law that says, in Germany in the 1930s, that says that all Jews have to move to ghettos, and calling it the Jewish Civil Liberties Act.
Yeah.
Like, it's... No.
Or what was the other one that the NSA passed? The Freedom Act, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, the Freedom Act.
The Freedom Act, and it's like totally anti-freedom.
Well, and there's a number of gun bills right now going through Congress that the Dems are trying to push that are euphemistically named.
The SAFE Act, that was another one of them. That's up there in New York, yeah.
Yeah, the New York SAFE Act that caused an almost immediate spike in gun crime.
Yep.
But it's keeping New Yorkers safe.
Yeah. Oh.
Not the New Yorkers that you want to keep safe, but the criminals. It's keeping them safe because that way nobody else is armed. So.
Yep. Punishing all those nice law-abiding citizens. So, all right, since we're on the subject, and Andrew was here, and he's a gun dude, and I'm a gun dude, so we had to do a couple gun related articles first. We got one more. This is from our buddy Francis, or you guys, Robert Francis O'Rourke, Beto. All right. So, Democrat 2020 candidate Robert Beto O'Rourke took to Reddit's Ask Me Anything forum in an attempt to revive his flagging presidential campaign, but things went south for the former Texas congressman almost immediately. In reference to O'Rourke's promise, hell yes, quote, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. During last week's Democratic debate, a Reddit user asked, quote, how will you confiscate the millions of AR-15s? It's estimated that there's like 16 million-ish AR-15s in civilian hands.
The AR-15 is the single most popular rifle in the United States.
I think the most popular centerfire rifle.
Yeah, centerfire should be special because the Ruger 1022 is actually...
There's like 100 million freaking 1022s out there.
Right, but it's 22 rim fire, so
yeah,
it's different.
So he asked, how will you confiscate the millions of AR-15s? O'Rourke answered, quote, Americans will comply with the law. It will be a mandatory buyback of AR-15 AK-47s, weapons designed for war, because we understand that there's no reason for any of us to own a weapon that was designed to kill people on a battlefield, especially when that kind of weapon is often used to kill and terrorize people throughout this country, in their schools, in their grocery stores, in their churches, in their synagogues, at concerts, everywhere. I have met countless AR and AK owners who say they don't need it to hunt, they don't need it for self-defense. It's fun to shoot, but would give it up because they also have kids and grandkids and want them to be safe.
I'm planning on cutting my own dick off so that less people rape, personally.
O'Rourke's response, the very first of his Ask Me Anything session Thursday night, is currently the second most downvoted comment in Reddit history.
I'm picturing that meme that everyone disliked that from Fallout. It's everyone.
Everyone disliked that.
It's like universally everyone's like, you're an idiot. And I'm sorry, but if you are an AK or an AR owner, or both because you're cool, if you have those and you are willing to give them up because other people have used them badly, then I also suggest you turn in your car keys in your vehicle immediately because other people drive drunk.
Mm-hmm. People have heart attacks from eating fast food, so you should stop eating fast food.
You know what? There are homeless people out there you should give up your house to.
Yep. And people more people die from medical malpractice than any of those, so you should stop going to the doctor.
Yep. I was going to say, in fact, most people, the majority of accidental deaths occur in the home, so doubly so, you should give your home up immediately.
Yep. There you go. Cut off your dick to prevent rapes.
Yep. And you know what? I believe Jesus said if your right hand causes you to sin, so you should cut it off. So I'm pretty sure other people's right hands gonna have to go with that too. That's your eyes, people.
So you have to go out and you have to go outside and kill Fido right now to prevent dogfighting.
Yep, exactly. Oh, and make sure that if you have any chainsaws, you get rid of them, because there was that kid in Russia who just cut his own head off with a chainsaw. So we want to make sure we get rid of those things too. Ooh, and
video games cause violence, so you have to go throw out Monopoly.
Yep, it's all video games, all games. They all need to go. Oh, and I mean, really, we're neglecting the biggest killer in the home. Your hot water heater.
The hot people slip and fall in the bathtubs all the time. You're gonna have to stop showering.
Gonna have to get rid of those. No hammers. They're the single most used weapon in assaults. Steak knives. If you have a knife block, you're gonna have to just chuck that right now, because that's like second only to hammers. And again, cut your hands off, because fists and feet. Also, cut your feet off. Those are also like number 3 or 4 on the list of most used. In fact, guns don't actually make even the top 10 most used weapons in murder. So, I mean, make sure you get rid of all the other things first.
What is it? What did I read the other day? Like 3% of all murders are caused by firearms, and like 0.3% of all murders are caused by rifles of any kind.
Yeah, it's you are actually more likely to die. Fun fact. You are more likely, because I love statistics, because statistics really put things into perspective. You are more likely to die testing if a 9-volt battery works on your tongue than you are from somebody shooting you with a rifle.
Just police kill more people than rifles do.
Yeah.
So
well, you're
gonna have to stop relying on government.
That's government's the biggest killer in human history. That's in the 20th century alone. You're looking at what
north of 250 million people.
Yeah, all because of government. So clearly, government is going to have to go.
Yep.
And really, I think that should be number 1 on this list here. If you're really that worried that you're willing to give up your own property because other people are doing bad things with it, I think government should be at the top of that list of things that you give up. And need to get rid of, because clearly
you could choke to death on food too, so you're going to have to stop eating.
So... And make sure that you only live in a place. Oh, nope, you can't even use sand. I was going to say a place where there's no rocks, because rocks are used in actually a fairly significant amount of murders every year. So no rocks, house fires and things. So no fire.
Yep.
Really, now that I think about it, it's best if you just drown yourself.
Well, if you drown yourself, then other people are going to have to give up their pools.
Well, they should anyway, because pools kill something like 30-something people a year. So,
what is it? Cows. Cows kill like 29 people a year, or something like that. Or something like that.
Cows are actually statistically the most dangerous animal in North America.
Which I absolutely believe.
Yeah, have you ever looked in those eyes?
I have been around some cows and oh my God! Speaking of that, cows. Did you see the article I posted earlier about the pigs in Japan?
Pigs in Japan? No,
a farmer is breeding polar bear-sized pigs.
Man bear pig.
1,100-pound pigs.
Man bear pig. Come on, guys. This is super cereal.
It's absolutely man bear pig. Oh my goodness! Like that's like well, as if like the pig issue in the South wasn't bad enough, and we have the Russian boars in Canada and all that. Like now we got to deal with polar bear sized pigs.
And the thing is people talk it like people will get pigzillas occasionally in like Georgia and Tennessee and stuff, and it's always everyone's always like, well, thank God you got rid of that thing because it was incredibly dangerous. A pig that size, and even small pigs. I don't know if you've ever been nipped at by a pig, but trust me,
I have
nasty.
In high school, I did a ride along with state parks up on Mountain Diablo here in the Bay Area, and we were chased up onto the truck by some wild boars.
Boars are dangerous as hell. They kill people. Very easily. They can kill you.
Yeah, no fucks.
Yeah, and their teeth are nasty enough that after they kill you, if they decide to then eat you, which they may, they will eat all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Not just your organs and soft tissues. They will crunch the bones down too.
Yep.
They will eat all of you. Pigs are incredibly dangerous. So now you've taken this thing that when it weighs 12 pounds is incredibly dangerous and can kill people, and you have made it 1,000-pound monster.
Yep.
Now, I love bacon as much as the next guy, but...
There's science, stop.
It's
just
stop. Your scientists were so concerned with whether or not they could that they never stopped to ask whether or not they should.
To quote the great Bricktop, hence the saying, as greedy as a pig.
Yeah. There's a guy in Germany who breeds giant rabbits, Night of the Lepus sized rabbits. And if you're unaware of Night of the Lepus, you should definitely watch it. It's amazing.
'Tis but a scratch.
Yeah, but he breeds rabbits that are the size of a medium dog.
The Norwegian rabbits, I think is.
Yeah, they're
the specific breed, but yeah,
freaking enormous.
There's the size of fucking pit bulls.
Yeah, they're a 30-pound rabbit. I just want to put that in perspective. That's a 30-pound rabbit. And if you've never seen what a kangaroo can do with its kick, you should look that up because that's what that rabbit can do to you with its kick.
Stop, science. Stop.
Yeah, stop. Stop making all sorts of things that can kill us. That should be innocent and adorable.
This is why we need AR-15s
yes,
and AK-47s.
Exactly. Because you're breeding pigs the size of a polar bear that I might need to kill. And if you've ever been hog hunting, which is a blast, so if you never have, go. But we use AR-15s to hog hunt because they fire quickly, they're accurate, they're reliable, and you don't want a gun to misfire when you're going after something that can and will kill you if all you manage to do is piss it off.
And just for food for thought for you, 1,100-pound pig, and Fukushima is still leaking.
They should redo Godzilla as just this massive pig. Oh, Godzilla pig. Just
because you can doesn't mean you should. Okay, just because you can give up your AR-15 because people did stupid things, doesn't mean you should give up your AR-15 because people did stupid things.
We need to give up all science now.
Oh, that's it.
All
fucking
science, homes, fire, the works.
Oh yeah. Oh, sweet meteor of death, 2020. Please.
Yes, that's got my vote.
Save us all. All right. Speaking of dumbass people, Ring. This is the Amazon Ring. Amazon Ring considered using 911 calls to trigger automated streaming of camera footage to local PDs. Amazon Ring's doorbell/camera venture hasn't met a news cycle it can't fill with unintentional bad PR. Every time someone thinks they've heard the last odious efforts of the company to become an unofficial extension of the police department's surveillance networks, another set of documents obtained through public records requests resets the counter back to, quote, 0 days since the last PR black eye. To date, the company has already formed partnerships with nearly 400 law enforcement agencies and has, quote, instructed cops on how to obtain doorbell footage without a warrant, provided cops with info on how often their requests are rejected by citizens, written and rewritten public statements involving Ring cameras for law enforcement agencies, engaged in a heavily publicized sting operation that has failed to net any criminals, and has also denied that it wants to implement facial recognition technology while employing a, quote, head of facial recognition technology. The latest PR coup by the expert self-malingers, as reported by Alfred Nig of CNET, quote, Ring considered building a tool that would use calls to the 911 emergency number to automatically activate the video cameras on its smart doorbells, according to emails obtained by CNET. The Amazon-owned company isn't currently working on the project, but it told a California Police Department in 2018 that the function could be introduced in the, quote, not so distant future. I just...
And, you know, when people wonder why tech guys like me flat out say no to, like, smart doorbells and smart anything, and we don't want Amazon Echoes in our houses, and all this, and they don't understand, like, why wouldn't you want it all automated? Aren't you into technology? I am into technology, which is why I understand what this shit really can do, which is why I want nothing to do with it.
Yes.
Like, are you kidding me? You could realistically, if you networked your doorbell and you had a smart door lock and you had smart lights and everything else, you could have cops show up at your house, not only see inside your house because you have your smart cameras, but then turn the lights down only where you're at, so it's hard for you to see while they have the night vision. Turn all of your lights off, keep you from turning them on, unlock your door, and enter your home despite the fact that you had it locked. And they could do all of that in a split second, and there's nothing you can do about it because you are dumb enough to think that somehow convenience was worth that kind of exposure.
I'll take it a step farther. Worse than cops. Every single day there are articles about mega corporations being hacked, banks being hacked, credit cards being hacked, Amazon being hacked. How hard is it to hack a Wi-Fi? It takes about $35 in parts in 15 minutes.
Yeah, you can war drive all fucking day and just connect to one Wi-Fi network after another.
Mm-hmm. And once you control a person's Wi-Fi, you control everything on the Wi-Fi smart meter side of things. The TV, like the smart refrigerators, the TVs, the lights, your phones, your computers, your door locks, your alarm system. Oh, and if you have a Wi-Fi enabled vehicle, good luck driving it.
Yeah, and your Tesla. Like, if you have one of the Teslas that, I mean, admittedly are kind of neat where the door's open and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the funny thing is that even Koenigsegg, right, which is they're an incredibly high-end car manufacturer. They only make an average of about 60 to 80 of any given model. Most of them sell out, even though they're like $2+ million a pop. Even
Koenigsegg's the one that made the 1-to-1, right? The
1-1, yes.
The weight ratio
the
to horsepower.
Koenigsegg 1-1, which has and actually now the new Riera also doesn't have or Regera, whatever, doesn't have any gears in its transmission either. It uses the same technology. And I've watched von Koenigsegg actually, Christian von Koenigsegg, explain how it works. I stared glassy-eyed at my TV and rewound it and watched and rewound. And it took me about 18 times, and I finally think I might actually understand how it works. It's like a really hyper advanced supersized torque converter.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But anyway, even they, with all of their technology that they have built in, and they have carbon fiber rims and all this other stuff, they only use the same kind of key fob technology that my 04 Dodge Ram has.
Yep.
Or starting, and yes, their doors and the hood and the trunk and everything are all automated based on that little button, those buttons on there. But it's a direct connection, a coded direct connection between that key fob and the car. They don't have any Wi-Fi bullshit in there at all. And it's not to save weight or anything, because those cars still have heaters and air conditioners and radios. And the Riera even still has an amp hooked up to its stereo with a subwoofer and all this other stuff. It's not to save weight or anything. It's because Koenigsegg doesn't want the possibility that those vehicles could be hacked from the outside to exist.
Yep.
So
these self-driving Teslas, like, they don't self-drive on their own. They're connected to satellites. They use Wi-Fi or 4G or 5G or whatever it is, and it's not safe.
Imagine, and I'm not a great hacker. I'm decent at coding and things. I'm not great. If I, with an associate's in IT, not super great at the whole hacking thing, can manage to take over your Wi-Fi network and control your smart TVs and your
YouTube
Nest and everything. Yeah, if I can do that, then what do you think a talented hacker could do?
There's videos on YouTube telling you how to do these things.
Yeah.
So, one email obtained by CNET expressed the company's desire to implement a, quote, call for service trigger for recording and not just for recording. The cameras would start streaming footage to police departments, partnership with Ring to give them a live feed of the affected area. Ring doorbell users would have to opt in at least, but the pressure to do so would obviously be increased if the users got the doorbell camera for free from a friendly local PD. It appears the plan has been ditched, which will allow Ring to steer clear of at least one more terrible news cycle. That being said, everything else that's bad about the private/public partnership remains true, which isn't going to somehow start less being bad anytime soon. Ring started prioritization of customer privacy continues to ring hollow. The company pushes users and police departments to gravitate toward its Snitch app, where users can be encouraged to share footage of suspicious events, relieving cops of the burden of requesting footage from users or Ring itself. Investigators can still approach Ring directly for camera footage if residents aren't willing to cooperate. Ring said it only complies with, quote, lawful demands for recordings, which it doesn't say that the lawful demand is usually a subpoena, not a warrant. Yeah, so no.
I mean, it just, and
it's people literally inviting Big Brother into their home.
Yeah,
under the guise of security.
Think about it. If you have Wi-Fi connected cameras in your home, and you have Wi-Fi connected microphones and Wi-Fi connected speakers, I can, with about $1,000 worth of equipment and a few hours on YouTube, control all of that and not only watch you and hear you, but I can live stream that feed, and I can talk back to you.
Yes.
And you will have no control over any of it. And if you have Wi-Fi connected locks, I can lock you in your house.
Yep.
And hold you. How has no one made a movie about this yet? First of all, that would be a great horror movie.
That would be a terrifying horror movie.
It would. It'd be scary as hell. But it would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I should sit down and write it. But two, think about, like, how many things do you do in a given day that you don't necessarily want anybody to see when you're in your home or in front of your house, where if your neighbors see it, whatever, but you don't necessarily want anybody else to?
And that's just one side of it. There's also that's the blackmail side of it. There's also the ransom side of it. Like every single year, you see articles about people having their smart TVs taken over and held for ransom, like right before the Super Bowl. Like imagine your whole house being taken over.
How many people have had to deal, and how many people have had to deal with ransomware inadvertently getting on their computers, where it holds their entire computer hostage unless you pay them like $20 or $30 to remove their own virus from your computer? Now that's inconvenient and annoying, and usually requires a complete reset of the computer to clear out, because that ransomware gets itself into the actual system code. It's nasty shit.
Yeah. And so, all this smart technology is literally ransomware on your house.
Yeah, it very easily. I mean, imagine getting locked out of your house. Imagine if your bank could lock you out of your house because you're behind on your payments. Just keep relocking the door. Every time you unlock it, it locks again. Unlock it, it locks again. Or imagine if the police use footage of you, you decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to have, I'm going to light up a bowl real quick in my house, and it's in my house, and I'm not hurting anybody and whatever, and no one's going to know.
Yep.
But it got captured on this camera, and then the police check in on you, see it, and then arrest you for it, for something you did in your own home. And I mean, think about that. Think what the average American commits, 12 felonies a day?
Something like that, yeah.
How many of those get captured on camera? Do you really want the police to be able to see what you do at home or hear what you're talking about at home?
Or your kid's teacher.
Or your kid's teacher.
Or like
your
there
doctor.
There was an article the other day about one of those electronic billboards where somebody blasted porn up on it, and there was porn during commuter traffic. Well, I mean, it's just as easy that they could put your security feed up there.
Right. Have you seen, is that Home Alone where he does that? Is that Home Alone where he sets up the camera with the projector on the side of the house for his babysitter? Is that Home Alone? What movie is that? I don't remember what movie that is. I thought that was Home Alone, but maybe not. Where the babysitter is getting it on with her boyfriend or whatever, and so he puts up a camera or sets up a camera to record it, and then projects it onto the side of the house for the whole neighborhood to watch.
I have no idea.
I think that might be Home Alone, but anyway, imagine that, but in your own home, and it's up on a billboard during rush hour. And even if you're not cheating, even if you're not doing anything wrong, imagine that it's just you and your wife, or, if you're, you and your husband, whatever. And, maybe you guys decide to do a role play night, and somebody, and so you're dressed up like a fucking cheerleader, and you're doing your bad porn acting, and somebody decides to slap that up on the M5 at rush hour.
The electronic billboard at your kid's school.
Yeah, I mean,
which they all have now. Yeah, so
it's or threatens to do it if you don't pay them, and then you don't pay them because you're like, fuck you, no, I'm not giving you money, and then that happens. What do you do at that point? Because even if you still believe in the justice system and think they could somehow be criminally prosecuted, even if they get criminally prosecuted, even if they go to prison, your reputation is already destroyed. Everybody already knows all of your shit.
Not only that, but let's not forget that with everything being on the internet, once it's on the internet, it's on the internet, period.
It's there forever.
It's not coming off the internet. You can't erase yourself from the internet. So something like that gets on the internet, it's going to be all over the Reddit forums. It's going to be all over the dark net and the kiddie porn sites, and it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. What about your kids?
Mm-hmm.
You have children who are running around. Let's say you have a 8-year-old daughter running around, and maybe you're asleep or something. It's early in the morning. She gets up to go to the bathroom, but she's only wearing underwear or something and goes to go to the bathroom. These guys can take that footage if you have that Wi-Fi and then slap it up on kiddie porn sites.
Yep.
And you'll never even know that it's there. Do you really want that? Do you really want to put yourself at risk? I mean, it's
Ring and all this smart home crap is fucking terrible. And the fact that Ring is partnering with 400 police departments.
Yeah, this isn't a one-off isolated thing. This is a thing that happens a lot.
If that doesn't tell you right there, partnered with 400 law enforcement agencies across the country.
They have partnerships where you can go to your local police department and get a Ring video doorbell.
Get a free
from the cops.
Get a free Ring video doorbell.
Do you really honestly believe that those police are giving you a video camera to slap on your home solely for your protection?
those who give up liberty for security.
Exactly. Like, no, there's no fucking way they're doing that out of the goodness of their hearts. It's because they're building a security network. If anybody doesn't believe the dangers here, play the video game Sleeping Dogs. And Sleeping Dogs 2. Or not Sleeping Dogs, Watch Dogs. Play Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2. Play those. Play through those. And do some of the side missions. They're kind of interesting that you encounter as you walk through this imagined hyper-connected Chicago. And see what happens and what you see when you do that.
It's literally a video game based on hacking.
It's entirely based on hacking an entirely interconnected network. So you can, in the game, because I know there are plenty of non-gamers out there who won't play it. In the game, you can hack into people's home security networks, into their video feeds, and get bank account information. You can get you can watch them cheating on their spouses. You can hear all sorts of things and watch all sorts of things happen in their homes. There's one part where if you hack a certain camera and get in, you watch a woman in her own shower in the game. And the entire point that the video game developers are trying to make here was the danger of an interconnected society, the Wi-Fi of things, the network of things, the internet of things is dangerous. It's bad. Yes. It is not a thing that should happen.
It's as bad as 1,100-pound pig.
Yes.
God damn it. Okay. Oh, from one absolutely retarded organization to another. Okay. This one, this like, of all the articles we have today, like, this is the one that I'm so fucking triggered thinking about it. Looking at the title, just the title alone, because I know what the article article says. It just, okay, this is out of Illinois. It is not out of Chirac. It is out of Zion, Illinois. Landlord and tenants sue Illinois city challenging unconstitutional home inspections. So, okay, under the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, there is only one option for government when it wants to search your home without the occupant's consent. Get a warrant, right? In Zion, Illinois, however, the government operates by a different set of rules. Zion's rental inspection ordinance gives it license to fine landlords up to $750 a day, or even revoke the right to rent property altogether unless landlords force tenants to allow the city's unconstitutional searches. Zion landlord Josefina Lozano wants to protect her tenants' rights after some of her tenants refused to allow warrantless inspections. The city sent Josefina a threatening letter giving her until September 29th, 2019 to comply or face fines that could reach 5 or 6 figures. Rather than wait for the city to issue ruinous fines, Josefina and the 3 of her tenants, Della Sims, Doris Pierce, and Robert Pierce, are teaming up with the Institute of Justice to file a federal lawsuit against Zion's unconstitutional ordinance. Quote, just because someone chooses to rent rather than own their own home, it doesn't mean they have to give up on constitutional rights. Institute for Justice attorney Rob Picola said, quote, it is plainly unconstitutional for Zion to force renters to open their homes to government inspectors without a warrant and under the threat of extreme penalties. Doris and Robert have called the Zion apartment home since 2000 because they value their personal privacy. The couple sent a letter to the city objecting to an inspection and demanding a warrant before allowing government inspectors to search their most private spaces. Zion ignored the request, choosing instead to threaten Josefina, their landlord, with fines. Okay, this is the juice of it. In 2015, when the city passed its rental inspection ordinance, can I just say right here, I'm breaking in rental inspection ordinance. Like,
we are going to regulate your homes in any possible way that we can.
Yeah. 2015, when the city passed its rental inspection ordinance, the mayor at the time blamed the city's poor financial health on, and quote, overabundance of non-owner occupied rental property.
So basically, what he's saying is, because the city isn't getting the amount of revenue that it wants from property taxes, because everybody's renting, we need to do something to discourage people from ever renting.
Yeah. Renters, he asserted, quote, often do not take care of their property like homeowners do, so this ordinance targets rentals only. But individuals' constitutional rights to privacy in their home does not depend on government preferences for homeowners over renters. All persons enjoy that right equally. Okay. Now Zion is threatening Josephina with ruinous liability and her tenants with eviction from their homes because they refuse to, quote, voluntarily waive their Fourth Amendment rights.
Voluntarily, even though they're being forced,
yes.
Somehow it's magically voluntary. Just like income taxes, they're voluntary, but if you say no, we'll throw you in prison.
Yeah. Let's see. 50 years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court held that even if the tenant objects to the inspection, such mandatory inspections are allowed, but only if the inspector first obtains an administrative warrant. The administrative warrant required for housing inspections has been reaffirmed countless times by courts throughout the country. Despite the mounting precedent, Zion has decided that obtaining a warrant is inconvenient, so it has adopted a different tactic: coercive penalties for anyone who asserts their Fourth Amendment rights.
So, because, oh God, that's going to be a really long, drawn-out process because we have to prove that we have a reason to inspect, and I just don't want to have to do that, so I'm just going to go ahead and ignore it.
Yeah.
The whole Fourth Amendment thing. It's awful inconvenient.
And if you don't allow us to violate your Fourth Amendment, and you don't allow us to inspect your home without permission, we're going to fine the homeowner $750 a day, and we're going to evict you from your home.
Because you weren't willing to acquiesce to our unconstitutional and just frankly morally wrong demands.
Oh, but we are so fucking free. We are so free, Andrew. I feel so free right now between Ring and Zion, Illinois. Like, I feel like the freest person on the planet.
Boy, I just take off your hat and stand for that super duper special fucking song.
The song or the pledge? The song, not the pledge, right?
You gotta stand for you gotta stand for them both, and you'd better say that pledge. You would better pledge unwavering fealty to the government that's clearly oppressing you without any question, because if not, well, you're just an asshole, and fuck you.
I have to repeat the oath written by a socialist and pledge to
make sure. If you want to be authentic, though, and truly mean it, you have to do the proper hand salute along with it. Because remember, he wasn't just a socialist, he was a national socialist. And his hand salute, have you seen what the hand salute is that's supposed to accompany the Pledge of Allegiance, as it was originally written? It's this.
Oh, right, the arm straight out one? Yeah.
Yeah. It's this. This might look familiar to people that you would do this. And the term National Socialist might sound vaguely familiar.
Well, yeah, now you have to place it over your heart. Because
now it's over your heart, a hand over your heart. Yeah. I'm surprised they don't make everybody whip out Bibles and put their hands on them and go, I swear. Like, do I need to pull out a sword and kneel before it?
I swear on the Communist Manifesto.
Yeah, I just
pledge fealty to the United States of America.
Can you imagine anybody trying to convince the founding fathers of the United States that any of this is a good idea?
Oh goodness, they'd get shot in the fucking face.
They'd be like, you're kidding, right? Like you're not actually, you don't really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
really? Like really? Really?
No, they wouldn't even bother. They'd think you were so insane that they'd just be like, okay, buddy. All right. Yes. Super special song. Pledge of fealty to the government. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, why don't you know what? I think that Elijah over there is playing with some Tinker toys. You should go
You should
check those out.
go over there. Go lick Ben's key.
Yeah. Why don't you go do that? That's Here, Ben, dear Uncle Ben has this kite that he's flying, and what you should do is make sure that you're standing barefoot in water as you fly it, and it's going to be really neat, I promise.
Bless your heart.
Oh, bless your heart. Yeah, well, they were mostly from the South, realistically, so, bless your heart. Yeah, but I mean, process that for a minute, that we have gone from I'm going to shoot people who want to invade my home and give me no choice.
It's literally written like the Third Amendment. Like, I mean, the Third Amendment is about not housing, but still, like they valued their home, their space, their castle so much that it's literally part of the Bill of Rights. It's the forgotten part of the Bill of Rights because nobody ever brings up the third. But,
right, the Quartering Act, everyone seems to forget. The Quartering Act ties into the Fourth Amendment inexorably.
Yes.
The two of them are very closely linked. That's why they're 3-4.
Mm.
They're right after. Because remember, in the 1770s, so in the late 18th century, the British, as America was growing in unrest, the British were starting to throw soldiers at America so quickly that they didn't have space to house them. So they had the right under British law, not morally, but under British law, they had the right to go, you have a spare bedroom, it's now his.
Yep.
And place a soldier in your home who you were expected to not only house but feed.
Oh, yep.
And you had no choice in the matter.
Yep. If you didn't, I think it was a treasonous act.
Yeah, to say no was an act of treason.
And your property could be seized.
Right, and then they just quarter a bunch of soldiers there because now you don't get to live there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, now it's a barrack.
So you have no choice. The founders of the United States had experienced this themselves. They knew what that was like, and they knew that it was a violation, a blatant violation of the sanctity of property rights and of your home. And so they made sure that immediately after saying every American should have a weapon so that they can fight back against a tyrannical government, they immediately said, oh, and no soldiers can get quartered regardless. You can't just take people's homes, something that they completely ignored during the Civil War. But, they had that. And then immediately after that, and they said, and the government can't just take things from you.
Yep.
And can't just barge into your home. That isn't something that they're allowed to do. These things all tied together, and this was all born of the fact that they had just gotten done fighting a decade-long war against a tyrannical government. Like, people forget just how long the revolution took. And they knew intimately how dangerous allowing government to have those powers was. And so they wrote that in. And even if you ignore that, from an anarchist perspective, like, oh no, property rights? Nah, those don't exist.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously? Like with rentals, like when Lindsay and I had been looking for a place, we refused to rent from somebody because in his lease contract, he wanted the right to be able to do monthly inspections at will of the apartment. And it's not like I'm all that worried about what he's going to find or anything, but it's the fact that I'm like, no, once I'm renting from you, this is my home. You don't get to just come in when you want. I don't even care if I'm paying you money to lease your space. I'm leasing it. It's mine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to make an argument here, it depends on the contract that you sign, and you refuse to sign the contract allowing that, right? So, right. You found a difference about it.
Right, and that's the thing is, I had the ability to say no, I'm not going to sign that contract, and go elsewhere. What these people in Zion, Illinois are trying to do is not even give you the option to not sign that contract. By nature of the fact that you signed a lease, they're allowed to just come into your house whenever they want.
And it's not the homeowners doing it. Right? This is the government. This is unelected bureaucrats with the health inspector and the building inspectors, right? I mean, these are hired employees of the government with the authority under the law to walk into your home and inspect it without a warrant, without permission.
Simply because they decide they want to.
Yes.
And try and tell me, even if you honestly are a dumb statist enough to believe, well, if you have done nothing wrong, you have nothing to hide. Even if that's the case, do you honestly believe that no one could possibly ever abuse the shit out of that?
Oh, that would never happen. Blah, 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 blah.
Because remember, these aren't even elected officials. These are hired bureaucrats. You can't just vote them out of office. They're sadist. They're stuck there. You're just going to have to deal with them. Do you really think that they'll never abuse that?
There's another enumerated thing on the Bill of Rights that would it would stop it. I can't remember which one it is, but there's a thing, and it's about owning things that you could use to stop the government from coming into your home like that. I think she but they're really heavy though, because they weigh as much as 10 boxes you would use to move.
And really, I mean, the rounds, the giant 50 caliber rounds that they fire, that's not, you don't need that. That's I love that, and I love that it's constantly need. It's constantly need when they talk about you don't need that. You don't need that. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not a bill of fucking needs.
My favorite argument is, well, you could only own the guns that they had at the time.
Okay, well then the First Amendment doesn't protect the internet. Sorry.
How's that modern medicine working out for you?
Yeah, the Fourth Amendment doesn't protect your car. Yeah. I don't. What? Are you kidding me? Sorry, you built that house using steel beams instead of wood beams, which means they wouldn't have had it at the time.
They wouldn't have had it at the time. And usually, the old houses back then were stone and cob. So they weren't even really using wood.
I mean, they had stick-built homes in Boston and Philadelphia and stuff. I guess they did, yeah, but not as many. Unless you either live in a brick home, a wood stick-built.
God, can you imagine if all the roads were fucking cobblestone?
Yeah, and clearly you don't have a right to use a road that isn't made out of either dirt or cobblestone.
Oh.
Because, it has to be based on what existed in the end of the 18th century. I mean, granted, the Amish will be cool.
You can't have penicillin, no.
Yeah, the Amish will be cool with all of this. I don't think they're going to care. But I feel like most of these people, and I love when they make those arguments on their iPhone and things
yeah,
also didn't exist at the end of the 18th century. I'm a little bit of a historian. I'm somewhat familiar with this. And
you believe things I don't agree with, which?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have to. You just said that plants could cure diseases. I'm gonna have to go ahead and burn you at the stake.
Yep. Everybody knows that only leeches and bloodletting work.
Clearly, and tympaning. Which is, to anyone unfamiliar with the term, literally drilling a hole in someone's head to let the bad spirits out.
Yep.
Now, occasionally, it did actually work. If somebody was actually the victim of brain swelling, inadvertently, it actually worked. So that did happen occasionally, where it actually worked. And leeches, we've discovered, do actually filter blood and can actually be beneficial, which is why they're getting used again in modern medicine.
I was reading an article about hysteria, about women who were suffering from hysteria, quote unquote, and they were the treatment was forced orgasms.
Forced
orgasms. Like they would be forced to sit on this vibrate. This is like back in like the 30s and 40s, where they would be forced to sit on like this vibrating chair that would stimulate them to the point that they would orgasm, and they were forced to have orgasms as a cure for hysteria.
Woman, you're just out of control. I'm gonna need to go ahead and tie you to the Sibian.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's a Howard Stern episode.
that's. I mean that's 30s and 40s. I mean that's not like.
Yeah, that's not ancient.
36.
Yeah, that's literally the 20th century.
Come on now.
So I mean, basically, and again, to a lot of these people, because a lot of them are female that make those arguments. I mean, I guess if you're going to argue that the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, only applies to things that existed, women have no rights.
Women can't vote. Yeah, women can't vote.
Why are you voting? Why no?
Minorities only count as 3/5 of a person.
Oh no, that's even way after that. They don't count at all. The 3/5 compromise happened long after the Bill of Rights was written.
Did it now?
Yeah, the 3/5 compromise happened after the Bill of Rights was written. So
people are fucked either way.
Yeah, because it was developed as a form of census in the early 1800s. Yes, but remember the Bill of Rights was ratified in 1789, so it was still the 18th century when the Bill of Rights gets ratified. So the 3/5 compromise, the end of slavery, women's suffrage. The existence of the majority of United States states, all of those things we're going to have to just do away with.
I have to go back to what I have to go. I have to be a Mexican province again or Mexican state again.
Yeah, exactly. See, somebody find the descendant of Santa Anna because he should be in charge of California.
No. Speaking of drugs, the legal kind, not the illegal kind. DEA allowed companies to increase production of opioids as overdose deaths spiked.
Government. Always watching out for your best interests.
The Drug Enforcement Agency allowed manufacturers to produce more and more opioids for a decade, even as the deaths from the crisis spiked, the Justice Department Inspector General said in a report released Tuesday. The agency's production quota for oxycodone, for instance, jumped about 5 times between 2002 and 2013. The agency cut the quota by 25% in 2017, but by then the number of people dying from overdoses of commonly prescribed opioids had reached nearly 2-decade high. The 77-page report paints a damaging image of the agency that was slow to respond to the epidemic, allowed bad actors to keep manufacturing and distributing opioids, and failed to prevent controlled substances from entering the illicit drug trade. The report cites one fairly straightforward step the agency didn't take when approving companies to manufacture or distribute drugs: criminal background checks. Instead, it relied on applications to disclose the information voluntarily.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah, I knew you'd catch that one.
So I am expected to be checked and rechecked in order to have something that's a constitutional right. But if I want to manufacture, but if I want to manufacture
or distribute
a controlled substance that is known to cause thousands and thousands of deaths.
More than 300,000 people have been killed in the last 2 decades.
So if I want to do that, it's an honor system.
Yes, the agency did not do background checks. Instead, it relied on applicants to disclose the information voluntarily.
So I could be a convicted felon, a convicted violent felon.
Yes.
Who has murdered someone in a drug deal gone wrong over heroin. But if I decide I want to go legit, I just don't have to say that, and they'll never know.
Yes. All right. Now, this, like, as good as that part. Okay. In a statement responding to the Inspector General's report, the DEA said it, quote, appreciates the assessment. It has improved how it detects and deters bad actors, and it has imposed millions of dollars in civil penalties against drug companies.
It It appreciates.
It appreciates the assessment. Like,
so they literally just went, thanks for that, buddy. All right.
Yeah.
And that was their response to like, hey, you guys are maybe, really corrupt and awful and like killing people. And the response was, yeah, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thanks for the heads up.
From 1999 to 2013, overdose deaths grew by an average of 8% a year. Around the same time, the DEA authorized a 5-fold increase in oxycodone production, according to the report. Overdose deaths then skyrocketed between 2013 and 2017, growing by an average of 71% a year.
71% per year
between 2013 and 2017. This is after the DEA authorized a 5-fold increase in oxycodone production.
But we need government to regulate the pharmaceutical industry because, for safety. Yeah. And that's and the opioid thing is something that hits home. One, because La Crosse, the city that I live in, has a major opioid problem.
The only stat in terms of like deaths that they list in this article, West Virginia had 974 overdose deaths in 2017.
Almost 1,000 people
in one state in 1 year.
And then multiply that across how many, state that so La Crosse, I can remember when I was really young and I was living here. And granted, it was a much smaller city at the time, but you could go almost anywhere in town and it was okay. And you could, and you didn't really like the one time I think I was probably like 8 or 9 years old. I was here for the summer and we found a needle in a gutter and like told my friend's parents and they called the police and had them come pick it up. Right. And everyone just assumed that it was like an insulin needle or something. Like the fact that it was even possibly heroin didn't occur to anyone. Now, the majority of people in jail in La Crosse County are in fact there for opioid-related crimes.
Yes, this is after the DEA allowed a 5-fold increase in the production during the opioid crisis. While people were dying, it was going up 8% a year from 99 to 2013. So for 14 years, it went up 8% a year. And during that time, DEA allowed a 5-fold increase in the production.
Just churning out them pills.
Yep.
Churning it out because it's about profit. It has nothing to do with protecting you. I mean, and I don't think there are too many people in the United States left whose lives haven't been touched by the opioid epidemic, right? That is a direct result and an inescapable result of the overprescription of opioid painkillers. It just simply is. There's no escaping it. Every friggin' study points to it. That's what it is. And as this is happening, and people who are close to you are being taken by overdoses, and heroin use is on an extreme rise, and everything else, they're increasing production.
Yes. 5-fold increase in production while the percentage of deaths were going up 8% a year. So, and here's another fun fact for you. Like, we know these companies made billions and billions of dollars a year, right? In 2017, the DEA leveled $194 million in penalties. Wow. Yeah. Which is not very much in comparison.
Well, and meanwhile, and while that's all going on, don't forget the drug companies like oh God, what's their name? Come on, the ones who make that anti
Oh, the Narcan?
No. The ones who make the anti it's supposed to help with like copper issue or something. The guy who the CEO just said something the other day about how they cared about profits and not about people.
I have no idea.
There's a drug company out there, and they were fined a ridiculous amount because they had like a prescription drug supply company that they owned through a bunch of shell companies, and it was way overcharging and things. And while all that was going on,
Purdue Pharma.
I don't think that was who it was. I
have no idea. There's nothing in this article.
It was on Dirty Money.
I have no idea. But
yeah, it was.
Yeah. Either way, the government knew who these people were, right? They absolutely knew that the DEA knew, the federal government knew, all these people knew who these companies were that were producing these opioids. And while the deaths were increasing, the production increased fivefold. If the government really wanted to stop the opioid crisis, quote unquote opioid crisis, like they could have. So it wasn't about stopping the people.
Right, because it's the government. The government needs people in prisons as an excuse to control people. They need the drug war so that they can control people. That's what it's about.
Yeah, most prisons, I don't know if it's all prisons, but most prisons, I know here in California it is, most prisons are run by private companies. Like they're state and county prisons, but they're run by private companies. And these private companies have an occupancy requirement in the contracts. Like here in California, it's like 94% or something like that. And if the occupancy of a jail drops below 94%, then the state the state has to give the company like extra money for XYZ. So they're under a financial incentive to keep the jails full.
Yep, and that's it's Valiant, by the way. So Valiant Pharmaceuticals, arguably one of the most evil of evil companies. If you look into Valiant and what they did and all their other stuff, that documentary too, Dirty Money, is freaking especially about Valiant, is fantastic because they interviewed the short seller who harpooned them, and she's fucking awesome. And she straight up said, like, I'm not even gonna cash out on my short sell until the value of their stock is zero. I want to crush them because of what they did.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, she's really cool. Short sellers in general, if you've never talked to a short seller, they're really neat. Short selling, basically what they do on Wall Street is, rather than investing in a company, so normal stock investing, you put money into a company, you buy an amount of stock, and then hoping that it's going to, or betting realistically that it's going to go up in value, and you hold on to it until that happens, and then you sell it for more money than you bought it for.
Yeah.
Short sellers are a little different, and it's a little complicated to explain, but the basic breakdown is that short sellers borrow stocks from somebody at a given value with an agreement that I will either give these stocks back to you at that value, or I will sell them back to you at that value. They then take those stocks that they've borrowed and they can sell them to somebody else. So what they do is that they sell them at the higher value, they get the money for that, then they harpoon the company, because what they've done is they've done a bunch of research on the company and they find dirty companies that they can destroy by revealing the dirt and drop the stock value. So they take it, They get the money for it. They sell it off to somebody else. And so it's still betting because you're risking money here. You might have to wind up buying those stocks at a higher value. So you're still risking money. It's still a big play, but you know that you're going to harpoon them. And it's not insider trading because all of the information that you got is publicly available information. You just put 2 and 2 together. So they basically, what they do is they hold on to stocks that they got at a higher value with a bet that it's going to come out at a lower value, and then they get the difference.
Okay. Makes sense.
So they, what she did is she looked at Valiant because Valiant started exploding in value. This is right before the Martin Shkreli thing, and everyone remembers that asshole.
That douchebag.
Yeah, it was right before that, but she recognized what Valiant was doing and everything else, and so she bought a bunch of their stock and whatever, and she stands to make millions on this, but refuses to do so until she destroys the company. So, because what happened is after all of it came out that she revealed, because not only did Valiant, so this is while this is going on. That's why this is relevant. I want to put this in perspective because while this is going on, that that they're approving an increase in opioid production during an opioid epidemic that's killing people and causing addiction and destroying families and communities and everything else. While they're approving that, simultaneously, Valiant takes the cost of an incredibly small customer base medication for a very, very, very rare disease that causes your body to basically be unable to absorb copper, which you need.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes that drug that allows that person with that disease to live. And they take that price and they go from $1 per pill or less than $1 per pill to like $238 per pill.
Lovely.
Having that disease, because Valiant also holds the patent on that drug. Having that disease will cost you in medication beyond what insurance will cover on average $800,000 a year. And if you don't get that medication, you will die.
That's insane.
This is going on, and this is being allowed while they are increasing opioid production. So while the opioids, which make people money purely based on addiction, realistically, are being increased in production, simultaneously, companies, the same companies in some cases that are doing that, are also increasing the price of actual life-saving medications by enormous margins. And remember, Valiant didn't develop that medication. Valiant had nothing to do with its R&D. The R&D was already long paid for, which is why it was only a couple of bucks. Valiant just wanted money. That's all they care about. And the way that Valiant grew the way that they did was solely by acquiring all of the patents from all of these other drug companies. And another drug company had developed this medication, and Valiant simply snapped it up and cranked the price.
See, I hate that. Like, I mean, they do that because they can, because they're life-saving drugs. People will pay for them. It's the same with the cancer and HIV drugs. Like, people don't want to fucking die, so they're gonna pay these exorbitant, super high prices, and insurance companies don't want people to die, so they're gonna pay these super high, exorbitant, these incredible drug prices. And it's solely because people don't want to die. They're playing on people's fears and they're capitalizing on it, and it's just fucking.
Well, not only is it disgusting, but from a purely anarchist perspective, because I know somebody's going to say, well, they're a private company, they have a right to do that. Absolutely. They have a right to charge whatever they want for their product. However, in a free society, things like patents don't exist. They're not the only ones who can manufacture that drug. Yep. And therefore, anyone else could show up and be like, hey, rather than paying them $800 a pill, how about you just pay me $1 to $2 a pill?
Yep.
Because I can make the same drug for cheaper because I know the formula, and then just make it.
Yep. There's an anarchist collective that is doing that too. some degree with various drugs, and they're actually working on an insulin.
Doesn't insulin need to be distilled right now, like from
I have
urine or something?
I have no idea. I have no idea about insulin. I think it has something to do with like animals, and they have to extract it from something or other. I don't know.
But it's, in any case, in a free society, things like that can't happen. They can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because these mega corporations and whatnot, they can't exist without the monopolies that they're afforded because of government laws and regulations and
this intellectual property bullshit.
Intellectual properties, yeah. No.
That's exactly it. Without intellectual property, these pharmaceutical companies would not have the power that they have. And I understand to a certain extent going, well, we need to be able to protect it, at least initially, because we put all that money into R&D to try and, make this drug. And R&D can be really, really, really expensive. Nobody likes it, but it's the reality. It's expensive. And it's doubly so because of government and government regulations. But like these companies are bilking people for all they're worth because they can, because government protects them. If government wasn't there to protect them, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing.
Yep. And they, in exchange, spend a shit ton of money on lobbying. I think that the pharmaceutical healthcare industry is the highest, the highest lobbyings, like literally like every single year.
Oh, it's billions. Billions of dollars.
Yeah, opensecrets.org. Fuck, I love this website. Let's see. And lobbying, go to industries.
Very back. Hang on.
The top, let's see. 2018. We'll go to 2018. That's the last complete year. The pharmaceutical health products industry spent $283 million lobbying. The next highest, which is the insurance industry, spent $158 million. So pharmaceutical and health products literally spent twice as much as the next highest industry last year lobbying. Now, this site also has a wonderful thing where you can do like the last 2 decades. So like 98, from like 98 to 2019, pharmaceutical health products industry has spent $4,223,747,000 lobbying. That's 4.2 billion with a B. The next highest, again, is insurance at 2.85 billion. So, again, that's like a 50% increase over. It's an insane amount of money that they actually spend on lobbying. And people like Elizabeth Warren think, oh yeah, we're gonna stop lobbying. They're not gonna fucking stop lobbying. They spent, I mean, there's too much money being spent for you to stop lobbying. Like, there's over $1 billion spent on lobbying this year alone. Oh, I don't know where Andrew went. He went to go do something, probably take a piss. So I'm just trying to kill dead airspace. Sorry, guys. So, there he is.
All right, I'm back.
Hi, Andrew.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I was just talking about the amount of money spent lobbying.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane how much they spend. And you can't honestly tell me that anyone can possibly believe that they wouldn't spend that much money or that they would spend that much money if it wasn't doing something for them. Yeah. If they weren't benefiting from that. Yeah,
last year alone, 2018, pharmaceutical health products, $283,600,000 on lobby. This is just registered lobbying.
Yeah, not even the kickbacks and the under the table shit.
Yep. So that's 283. The next highest industry, insurance, 158 million. So,
and that should tell you something, that the top two are both healthcare related.
Yeah. See,
I mean, you want power, if you're an insurance company or a pharmaceutical company or both, you have the power over life and death with people.
Yep.
So you can do whatever the hell you want as long as government protects you.
Yeah, this is the fun one. Like the opensecrets.org, you can do like per year, or you can do like the last 20 years. So like 1999 or the 1998 to 2019, pharmaceutical health products, 4,223,000,000. The next highest is insurance.
4 billion with a B.
The next highest is insurance at 2.8 billion. So like they're literally being outspent by 50%. It's an insane amount of money.
And yet everyone's all worried about the gun lobby.
Yeah, the gun lobby. Which what did NRA spend, like $5 million or something like that?
Well, and the fucking NRA supports a shit ton of gun laws anyway. So
I got into an argument with someone the other day. They were talking about the NRA, and I was like, the NRA is not a gun rights organization. They're a limited gun control organization.
Yes,
and the guy lost his fucking mind. It was hilarious.
And don't forget, the NRA was never even founded as a gun rights organization. The NRA was founded to promote, and this is the irony here, the NRA was founded to promote civilian marksmanship for civil defense. That's what it was founded for. It was founded to promote people's abilities to kill governments.
Yeah.
And improve it. That's what it was founded for. It was nothing about gun rights. It was about gun use.
All right. So we got one more article, and this one's going to be a fun one. I wish the full crew was here, because I think that they would have an absolute ball with this one. But we all know that teachers don't get paid very much, right? Like that's established. Teachers don't get paid very much. Teachers are turning to sugar daddy dating sites to supplement their salary. Yeah. All right. So Nola used to serve weekends at a Red Lobster, a third job she took in addition to tutoring to supplement her teacher salary. Now, thanks to sugar daddy and dating site seekingarrangements.com, she's the one getting served. I can go on a date, I can have steak and lobster, be gone for 3 hours after my kids are already asleep, and come home with $500, she tells Yahoo Lifestyle. The allowance-based dating site that the Nevada teacher came across in 2018 advertises itself as, quote, the world's largest sugar daddy dating site, where it sets up people with, quote, mutually beneficial relationships. Dates can range from a single dinner out to a weekend trip or longer, with payment being determined between the two parties, the sugar daddy and the sugar baby. Seeking arrangement made it clear that it, quote, prohibits any unlawful use of the site, including escorting, prostitution, and human trafficking. However, at least 2 of those interviewed by Yahoo Lifestyle said they had sex. Both women clarified that this was the result of a long-term relationship that had formed, not simply something transitional.
Right, and that's important. That is an important note on behalf of this website, which I've been on. I'm not proud of it, but I have. So I have. Hey, I made a shit ton of money once upon a time.
Yeah.
Saying.
So.
But yeah. You don't pay people, like if you're this guy who's a sugar daddy, you're not paying them to have sex with you. You're just taking care of them because, well, they're your girlfriend, so you're taking care of them, and you know that they would never be with you if you weren't making a ton of money, and so that's what you do. And if sex happens,
whenever you ever see like an old, ugly guy with a big pot belly, and he's like with a really hot girl that could be a model, it's because he's a sugar daddy. Yeah.
He is pumping more than just himself into that relationship. Let's put it that way.
While it might not seem like the most acceptable side hustle for the educator, it's likely among the most lucrative. The average sugar baby makes an estimate $2,800 a month from their daddies. Seeking Arrangement reported that the organization's 2018 summit. Those who rely on extra salary as a way to make ends meet are far from alone. According to Ed Week, 1 in 5 teachers has at least one extra job to supplement their income, and most of them aren't glamorous. In fact, Nola, who, like several other quoted in the story, asked to be identified with a pseudonym, says plenty of teachers in her area work as Uber drivers or cocktail servers at the Golden Nugget or Hooters. But now Seeking Arrangements has offered an alternative to the more than 10,000 teachers, according to the site, 10,000 teachers cashing in out of necessity. Quote, I mean, I know that I wasn't going to be a billionaire off of being an educator. That's obvious. But I never thought I wouldn't be able to pay my basic bills, she says. I never thought I would need to have, I would need that or have to really depend on other people for that. I mean, I have a master's degree. A current professor from Arizona, Lisa, again, not her real name, started her teaching career in an elementary school before deciding to pursue a PhD so she could move into a more lucrative position in academia. But her first full-time offer after getting a degree was, quote, a slap in the face. It's like you do all this work and you start out at $33,000, Lisa told Yahoo Lifestyle. It's nothing. The salary wasn't enough to make ends meet, so Lisa took on 2 additional jobs working at a community college and bartending.
You know, if you worked for a private school, those job offers are a lot higher paying.
Yes. It was at the bar one night that a few of the men who stopped for a drink mentioned seeking arrangement. I was afraid that it was like prostitution, Lisa admits. Still intrigued, she set up a profile and found older men that were mutually interested in a relationship. Quote, they all had money, she adds, and they were like, I just want to share what I have. Lisa said her arrangements are usually long-term, meaning that she often gets an allowance on a regular basis. Quote, getting paid is so strange to say, she admits. One person paid my rent, another person contributed to my film project. One guy I dated for a long time gave me a certain amount of money each week.
Man, why can't I find that? Like, if there are any not terribly attractive but incredibly rich women out there, I just want to let you know.
Yeah,
I can do things.
Like these are teachers, right? I mean, these aren't fast food workers. These aren't, nobody's, right? These are teachers doing these sort of things, and this is all voluntarism.
It is.
It is absolutely all voluntary. It is a voluntary relationship between two people in exchange for currency or value or whatever you want to call it. But
and that's one of the, like, all relationships are kind of prostitution if you think about it.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
They're all, I will give you this in exchange for this. Every single one of them are a quid pro quo relationship. That's what they all are, and anyone who tries to pretend that isn't the case is a fucking liar. All right, they all are, and we know it. So why what's wrong with what they're doing?
There's nothing wrong with what they're doing.
And it's they're like ashamed of it. They're ashamed to say, like, I'm doing this, like I'm dating this.
It's because of the stigma. There's sugar daddies, right? There's sugar babies. There's a whole stigma attached to it. But the reason I brought it up is because what it comes down to, it's voluntarism, right? These rich people, these rich lonely guys, or, well, not necessarily that lonely, but these rich individuals.
No, they are lonely though.
Are voluntarily contributing to someone else's income in exchange for a good or service, right? Like, if it helps the teachers, then, like, I'm all for it. It doesn't matter if they're teachers. The fact that they're teachers just makes this, like, extra awesome, because that's one of the things that people talk about. Who will build the roads, who will educate the children, blah 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 blah. Well, this is how you pay for teachers. The fact that she's hot and does that thing like in the cherry pie video, that's totally a coincidence.
And that's the thing though, is it's, if you break it down, like think about it this way: if you are dating someone, let's say you've gotten to know them, whatever else, and they're pretty cool and you like them, whatever, and you're dating now, and then you find out that they're struggling with paying a bill or something else, and you happen to make a lot of money and you have a lot of spare money, it's not unreasonable for you to then voluntarily choose to give them money to cover that bill.
Yeah.
What they're doing is simply dispensing through this website. They're dispensing with any pretenses that isn't what they're after.
Yeah, and let's change the name of the website, right? So it's no longer Seeking Arrangements, no longer Sugar Daddies. We'll call it, just say it's Tinder. These people are meeting on this website. They're having fun, they're getting along, and the one party just happens to have a little bit of money, and they like to spend it on the other individual.
Yeah, there's
absolutely nothing wrong with that, right?
Some people, there's that love languages thing, and I realize that's a lot of people roll their eyes at it and stuff. But I'm a thorough believer in the idea of love languages, that everybody expresses language, the language of love in a specific thing, right? For some people, it's physical affection. For some people, it's spending time with them. For people like me, I'm one of those people. It's gift giving. I like giving things to people that I care about. That's how I tell them that I love them.
Mm-hmm.
So for these people, the way that they go, I appreciate you and I value you, the sugar daddies, it's by giving them money or giving them nice things. That's what they're doing. And it's not like anybody's
their bills or whatever else. Yeah, give them allowance.
And no one's being taken advantage of here. First of all, and that's one of the beautiful things I think about that website, is that no one's getting taken advantage of. Everyone's going into this knowing full well what this is.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate and I love, especially from a volunteer perspective. I love that everyone's just upfront, like, hey, no, this is what I'm after. If you want to do this, great. If not, well, then move on and everything's okay. No one needs to pretend anything. Like, these women aren't having to be prostitutes. They're not trying to pretend that they're having sex with this guy because they're into him or anything else. No. They're there and giving him something that he wants, which is just female companionship, a woman that they can count on. I mean, you even see that with cam girls and things, because I have this weird uncanny ability to develop like friendships with people who are cam girls and strippers and porn stars and things, but I still don't get it, but whatever, it happens.
It's the eyes, according to Lindsay. It's the eyes.
See, that's what she says. Yeah, it's the eyes. But it's so apparent. Well, or my attitude.
Slipping into the Irish accent doesn't hurt either.
No, not really. It tends to work out pretty well. Yeah. But I know a lot of them, and a lot of them are also kind of lonely, and the ability to pretend that they're not in it for the money when they're interacting with guys is something that they do, but it kind of ruins you trying to pretend that. These girls don't have to pretend that. Mm-hmm. They can just be who they are, and everyone knows what they're going into and knows that, and at the same time, though, they're getting money. And like, I've known some of them that have said, like, there are guys who become regulars who will pay for things for them, even with them just mentioning, like, when they get asked, like, oh, how are you doing? Oh, well, I'm behind on my car payment. It kind of sucks, and whatever, but it's fine. And they'll just pay their car payment because, you know what? They value this person. They value what they're getting from this person, even if there's not a romantic relationship there, a truly romantic one. They're getting something that they value.
Mm-hmm. And there's an added value to this because these girls are teachers, right? So these girls are educators. These aren't girls that are like demanding more money, right? They're not out there, picketing and doing all this stuff, demanding to get paid more by the state, right? These girls accept what they get paid. They wish it was more, and they found a way of supplementing their income. So these girls are still doing what they love. They're still teachers. They're still educating. You know, they're still doing all that, but they're not demanding to be paid more. They're not demanding money from the state. They're not. It keeps people that want to be teachers in the position.
Right.
And if you're gonna have a teacher, I want someone there that wants to be a teacher.
Right. And that one woman said, like, I didn't expect to get rich being a teacher. Like, I knew that wasn't gonna happen, but I wanted to do it. It just sucks that I've realized that my rent is too high, and so I need some help there. And rather than going, I need to protest and I need to demand that government gives me more money, instead her response is, instead her response is, well, I'm going to have to figure out a way to make more money, and that's what she did, and that's what these teachers are doing. Is they just went, well, I'm going to have to figure it out, and so they went and did it. And like I've said before, and I'll say again, if I discover that one of the female teachers of my children is a stripper, I am going to be curious enough to want to know where she's a stripper, but I don't care. I don't devalue the fact that she can still educate my child simply because she gets paid to take her clothes off.
Gonna make it rain with markers and colored crayons.
Here's your fucking still supplies. They spray out a box of Crayola 64s down at the rail.
Steps on a marker, slips, breaks her ankle. There you go. Thanks. You just ruined your kid's teacher.
Yeah. And notebooks, and the fact that I do a back to school drive upsets me slightly.
I can just imagine one of those like blue 55-gallon barrels or a big box by the front door. $2 off if you donate some school supplies on entry fee.
Why haven't they done that? Like, I think that's a great place to do that realistically.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like, yeah, like that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. That's a great idea. Strip club owners out there, you need to get on that. That's something you guys should do. I think if I ever decide that I want to do a back to school drive anywhere, I think I'm going to hit up Chubby's and Outskirts, and there are a couple other places around here. I'm going to be like, hey, you guys should do this. It'd be great. It's
slap a support single mom's bumper sticker on the side of it.
Yes, exactly. We need to take care of these children.
Oh my goodness, I'm laughing my ass off. But yeah, again, it's entirely beneficial. There's literally no downside to this.
Yeah, there are
unless you're a stuck up person who buys into the stigma.
Right. If you have some sort of a moral aversion to this, I could see where you'd be like, oh, but morally, well, but who cares? I don't care.
How is it affecting anything?
Yeah, nobody's being like, they're not going to give your kid a bad grade because they went out and banged some rich dude. All right, that's not going to happen. No one's losing here. Everyone's winning. The rich guys who are lonely, and they're lonely. Plenty of rich people are very, very lonely because most of the women who are in their lives organically, they can't talk to them because they're either people who they're in business relationships with, and so they can't be candid with them, or they're people who they have to question their motives. Mm-hmm. Are they into me? Are they not into me? Is it about my money? These people are going into this, these women, for them, where they know, well, it's primarily about the money. And if anything, if I start to seem like I'm into you, it's because I'm actually starting to seem like I'm actually starting to get into you. So they get a completely open relationship out of this, where it's not open relationship, but an honest relationship.
Upfront.
Yeah, an upfront relationship. There isn't any falsehood here when they go into this. So they're benefiting from that. And the women are getting money and possibly companionship as well. Who knows? Because, I mean, if you're like the one woman said she puts her kids to bed. She's a single mom. It's hard for her to date as it is. It's hard for her to meet any decent dude. And she's meeting people who she knows are willing and able to take care of her and her children.
Yeah, what she said, go out to dinner, come home with $500. That's a good day's pay, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a really good day's pay. For a few hours, and it's only going to be, what, 2 or 3 hours, maybe?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, hell yeah. I would love to be able to make $500 in 3 hours. That would be awesome. That would be a great freaking night.
And I might even put out for $500 a night.
$500, I'm definitely putting out. Are you kidding me? That's happening. No world. But anything less than that, that's gonna cost you more. Sorry, but it's...
So, yeah, episode 73, hot for teacher, hot for teacher,
hot for teacher,
hot for teacher.
So
on that note, yeah, it's just about our bedtime too, I guess. So this is episode 73, Anarchy Among Friends. Thank you, Andrew. I know this is thrown together at last minute because we suck at being professional.
Yeah.
But
you're the most professional podcast on the interwebs.
Yes, and we'll catch you next time for episode 74. Peace.
Yep.